promises in the middle of the night. I'm leaning on the fender, I'm watching for the door, looking for a feeling I've never felt before. The radio is playing our favorite summer song, while the light of yellow taxis is moving right along. I've got the engine off now, I'm listening to the hum, waiting for the moment that I know is gonna come. There's a tension in the static, a magic in the air. I see the silver reflection on the windows everywhere. My heart is like a stopwatch, ticking on the seat to the rhythm of the city and the suburban beat. At the neon meeting point, waiting for your face in the center of the world, in this ordinary place. It's Friday night in '86, and everything is new, and I'm just a shadow until I'm standing next to you. Neon needed point, glowing in the dark, searching for a signal, searching for a spark. I see the kids in denim, I see the girls in lace, searching for treasure in every single place. The arcade screaming muffled from the second floor above, a symphony of static and a laboratory of love. I'm checking the reflection in the surface of the glass, watching how the restless and the lucky people pass. Then the doors slide open and the light begins to spill. Then for a tiny second, the entire world is still. There you are, in the light, the only star in the night. The neon meeting point, waiting for your face in the center of the world, in this ordinary place. It's Friday night in '86, and everything is new, and I'm just a shadow until I'm standing next to you. Neon meeting point, glowing in the dark, searching for a signal, searching for a spark. Just you and me, where we're supposed spirit never really dies. The mall is like a fortress made of plastic and of light, keeping out the silence of the big and empty night. Can you feel the energy? Can you feel the flow? Moving to the rhythm that only teenagers know. It's a carnival of wonder, it's a carnival of sound, where the secrets of the Friday are waiting to be found. The arcade heartbeat pulsing in the wire, setting every circuit and every heart on fire. Lost inside the neon, lost inside the game, where nobody is lonely and nobody is the same. The heartbeat ringing in the hall, the anthem of the summer, the anthem of the mall. I see the silver jackets and the ribbons in the hair. A feeling of a holiday is hiding everywhere. We're passing by the cinema, we're passing by the store, looking for a magic that we've never seen before. The radio is screaming out a catchy little tune underneath the belly of the sunburned moon. Hold on to the moment, hold on to the dream, caught inside the ripples of a technicolor stream. Level up, don't stop, to the rhythm, to the top. The arcade heartbeat pulsing in the wire, setting every circuit and every heart on fire. Lost inside the neon, lost inside the game, where nobody is lonely and nobody is the same. The heartbeat ringing in the hall, the anthem of the summer, the anthem of the mall. Play again, never let it end. The all night. The movie's over and the crowd is pouring out. I can hear the laughter and the distant teenage shout. But we're just sitting here, watching shadows on the wall, in the quiet corner of the parking lot and mall. The giant posters flicker in the artificial breeze, while the wind is moving through the lonely maple trees. There's a silver lining on the edge of every cloud, in a town that's always feeling just a bit too loud. The radio is humming like a heartbeat in the door, telling us the things we've never listened to before. Under the cinema skyline, breathing in the night, lost inside the circles of the red and yellow light. Everything is possible, everything is true, as long as I am sitting here right next to you. The skyline, the 1986 line. I see the box office closing for the final time today, watching how the magic of the stories drifts away. a screen to see the world begin to glow. We've got our own direction and a place for us to go. The dashboard is a map of every dream we ever had. In a world that's never simple, in a world that's never sad, we're moving past the borders of the ordinary life, cutting through the static like a sharp and silver knife. No more looking back at all the things we left behind. We're the only vision that we ever need to find. Under the cinema skyline, breathing in the night, lost inside the circles of the red and yellow light. Everything is possible, everything is true, as long as I am sitting here right next to you. The skyline, the 1986 light.
The screen is flashing game over in a neon shade of red. I can feel the electricity spinning in my head. The quarters are all gone and the joystick's finally still, while the shadows start to gather on the suburban hill. I see the manager reaching for the heavy iron gates, but for us the Friday night is never gonna be too late. The lights are going down in the center of the hall. I can hear the silence echoing against the wall, but the engine's running steady and the tires are looking good. We're gonna leave this valley like we always said we would. Last call at the arcade, running for the car. I don't care how lonely or how trapped we really are. We've got the transmission and we've got the final spark, breaking every record in the middle of the dark. The last call before the night falls. The girls in denim jackets are all heading for the bus, but there isn't any border that can never hold the us. I'm shifting into gear while the mall begins to sleep, into all the promises we're finally gonna keep. The parking lot is empty now, a desert made of white, and we're the only phantoms in the center of the night. Forget the high scores, forget the neon glare. We're breathing in a different kind of California air. The road is wide and open and the radio is loud. We're
this plastic town. The red and blue neon is reflecting in the rain, tracing out a pattern that I can't quite explain. I'm leaning on the steering wheel, watching for your car, wondering how lonely and how far away you are. The security is circling the perimeter line, in a world that's pretending that everything is fine. But the radio is whispering the secret from the stars, caught inside the static of the empty parked cars. The mall's a ghost town, but we're still alive, waiting for the moment when the Friday will arrive. Underneath the halo of the yellow parking lights, we're the only dreamers in the middle of the night. The ghost town, the 1986 light. I see the mannequin staring from the darkened glass, watching how the hours and the lonely minutes pass. They've got the perfect faces and the perfect plastic hair, but they don't feel the electricity hanging in the air. The wind is blowing paper across the painted white line, while I'm checking my watch for the 100th time. The speakers in the ceiling are finally still, the shadows are climbing the suburban hill. But as long as I'm here, as long as I wait, and that is a promise, and it's never too late. The mother's a ghost town, but we're still alive, waiting for the moment when the Friday will arrive. Underneath the halo of the yellow parking light, we're the only dreamers in the middle of the night. The ghost town. drifting from a station far away, playing all the melodies that we couldn't say. The dashboard is glowing in a soft and emerald green, the most beautiful vision that my eyes have ever seen. Your hand is on the leather, just an inch away from mine, waiting for the stars and the planets to align. There's a tension in the silence, a melody in the air. I can feel the electricity, I feel it everywhere. The world is just a picture, the world is just a dream, floating on the surface of a violet-colored stream. Static on the FM, calling through the night. Better than the neon, better than the light. Softly through the shadows, gently through the haze. The final scattered embers of these electric days. The static, staying in the blue. The parking lot is breathing like a giant in its sleep, while the secrets of the Friday are the ones we're gonna keep. I see the distant flicker of the interstate line, watching how the red and the white lights entwine. No need for a map, no need for a place, when I'm lost inside the orbit of your quiet face. The air is getting colder, the wind is getting high, underneath the belly of the California sky. But as long as the radio is playing this tune, we're staying in the shadow of the suburban moon. Static on the FM, calling through the night. Better than the neon, better than the light. Softly through the shadows, gently through the haze. The final scattered embers of these electric days. The static, staying in the blue. Tokens and a heart full of soul. Let the music take the orders, let the rhythm take control. The mall is shutting down, but the energy is high. Watching how the satellites are drifting through the sky. I've got your name written on the back of my hand, in the center of this neon lit and plastic land. Can you feel the power? Can you feel the rush before the And the boys in the lace are looking for the magic in every single place. But we found the secret, we found the key between the high-tech dream and the deep blue sea. I'm shifting into gear while the mall begins to sleep into all the promises we're finally gonna keep. Forget the neon glare. We're breathing in a different kind of California air. The road is wide and open and the radio is loud. We're rising like a fever far above the suburban crowd. The arcade afterglow, shining in the dark. Every single movement is an electric little spark. Lost inside the sequence, lost inside the flow. Carnival is closing on the edge of the light. I'm looking for a feeling that the world has forgot. The giant wheel is standing like a ghost against the blue, and every light that's flickering reminds me of you. We're sitting on the hood with the engine still warm, hiding in the center of the suburban storm. There's a tension in the silence, a magic in the air. I see the silver reflection on the windows everywhere. The radio is whispering a slow and dark refrain, while we're watching for the coming of the evening rain. The Ferris wheel silhouette, frozen in the night, better than the neon, better than the light. Softly through the shadows, gently through the haze, the final scattered embers of these electric days. The silhouette staying in the light. I see the empty cabins hanging high above the street, while the rhythm of the city is a drum beneath our feet. Everything is wider here, everything is deep, while the rest of California is falling into sleep. We don't need a ticket and we don't need a ride when we've got the whole universe waiting inside. The moon is catching silver on the surface of the chrome. I'm thinking about the distance and the way back home.
watching how the satellites and silver planes go by. The mall is down below us, a glowing plastic square, but we're breathing in a different kind of midnight air. The city is a carpet made of diamonds and of gold, a story of the summer that is never getting old. There's a silence up here that the streets never know, watching all the traffic in a steady golden flow. The radio is humming from the cabin of the car, telling us exactly just how beautiful we are. The parking roof horizon, looking for a sign, tracing out the border and the long suburban line. Everything is quiet, everything is bright. We're the kings of the valley in the middle of the night. The horizon, staying in the light. The wind is blowing colder through the wires and the rail, watching how the purple clouds begin to softly fail. I see the distant flicker of the stadium and park, a tiny little island in the pocket of the dark. No more rules to follow, no more walls to climb. We're finally the masters of our own electric time. Look at the lights, look at the glow. Everything we wanted is in the world below, but I'd rather stay here, caught inside the breeze, high above the houses and the silent maple trees. On the parking roof horizon, looking for a sign, tracing out the border and the long suburban line. Everything is quiet, everything is bright. We're the kings of the valley in the middle of the night.
a mile or two apart. I can hear the rhythm of your California heart. We've pulled over the shoulder where the grass is getting high, underneath the belly of the vast and empty sky. The radio is playing something heavy, soft and slow, and there isn't any other place I really wanna go. There's a tension in the silence, a magic in the air. I can feel the electricity, I feel it everywhere. The world is just a picture, the world is just a dream, floating on the surface of a violet-colored stream. A slow dance on asphalt in the middle of the road, leaving all the pressure and the heavy suburban load. Just the two of us moving in the shadow and the light, the only thing that's solid in the center of the night. The slow dance, staying in the blue. The air is smelling sweet, like the jasmine and the pine, watching how the planets and the silver stars align. I've got my hands around you and the world is finally still, past the empty houses and the quiet suburban hill. No more high scores to chase, no more games for us to play. We're 1,000 miles ahead of the coming of the day. Don't say a word, don't even breathe. There isn't any reason for us to ever leave. The road is our kingdom, the night is our home. In a world made of plastic, in a world made of chrome. A slow dance on asphalt in the middle of the road, leaving all the pressure and the heavy suburban load. Just the two of us moving in the shadow and the light, the only thing that's solid in the center of the night. The slow dance, staying in the blue. A ghostly kind of gray, I can see the borders of the ordinary day. The mist is rolling heavy over the playground and the mall, watching how the shadows of the Friday softly fall. The dashboard lights are dimming, the coffee's getting cold, while we're looking for a story that has already been told. Starting on the lawns along the street, a mechanical symphony, a suburban heartbeat. The radio is static, a wash of silver rain, washing out the magic and the temporary pain. The 5 a.m. mist hiding from the sun, no But hold on to the feeling, hold on to the ghost, before we turn into the things that we hate the most. In the 5 a.m. mist, hiding from the sun, knowing that the battle and the night is finally won. Everything is blurry, everything is blue, in the final quiet moments that I'm spending here with you. The morning mist, before the world wakes up. The gold is hid in the rooftops, the gold is hid in the glass, watching how the final shadows of the Friday pass. I'm pulling in the driveway, I'm turning off the heat, listening to the silence of the ordinary street, but the rhythm's still playing, a ghost inside my head, of every single word and every promise that we said. The stars are getting smaller, they're melting in the light, into all the memories of the California night. The
I'm just trapped inside this silver space with you. The wipers are still, the engine's long since dead, recalling every single word that we've ever said. The moisture's building up upon the cold and heavy glass, watching how the ghosts of the Friday night pass. I'll trace a heart into the mist upon the pane, a little bit of sunshine in the middle of the rain. The radio is low, a whisper in the dark, searching for the rhythm, searching for the spark. Fog windows hiding us away from the early shadows of the coming day. Caught inside the static, caught inside the dream, in a world that's never quite as lonely as it seems. Fog windows, staying in the light.